County Auditor was declared February 7th. According to RCW 35.27.080, no person shall be eligible to hold an elective office in a town unless he or she is a resident and registered voter in the town. So with that said, that makes Mr. Piccarelli not illegal to be on the town council. That's my statement. If we proceed with this council meeting, with this guy sitting at the table as a non-legal council member, this meeting is invalid. These are two RCWs, state laws, not subject to opinion or discussion. They are state laws in black and white. That's my point of order.
So why is he there? Oh, sorry. Why is he there?
I'll let Logan answer that one. This is our town attorneys.
It would just be a resignation, is what normally it would be a resignation by someone who's been found not eligible, but the legal guidance on it is that until a person resigns, the town doesn't have authority to remove him from office. The prosecutor's office could, and so the prosecutor's office is going to move forward on that if Mr. Piccarelli doesn't resign, but they do have a time frame that they want to wait, so that's where it's at right now.
So I would disagree with that. The state law is pretty clear, regardless of case laws. This person is disqualified from being on the town council. By his own admission, he doesn't live here. By the auditor's decision, he's not a legal voter here. This will be not a legal meeting if he continues to sit at this table through the meeting. So I might as well adjourn the meeting.
Point of order. Mayor, if I may.
Okay, Chair recognizes.
Thank you. Okay, so I understand Councilman Shipley's concerns, but this is for the court to adjudicate, and it hasn't been adjudicated through the courts. I had to initiate a recall petition against Councilman Shipley and the mayor, and that's the proper legal way to handle these things. You bring it before the court to have it adjudicated, so that way these facts can be weighed out. The auditor has no authority to remove me, and the auditor made it very clear that wasn't her intent. She was just handling the voter registration challenge only, and that's all that she could do. And everything else had to be adjudicated to the Superior Court. But again, that hasn't happened. So nobody has the authority to remove me from this council. But since we're talking about who should be here and who shouldn't, the mayor appointed Richard Vogel, which thank you, Mr. Vogel, has removed himself from this council, but she appointed him unlawfully. So we need to go back, if we're going to talk about doing things legally, and go back and re-vote on everything that was voted while he was here unlawfully. But as far as removing me, that's not going to happen unless there's a judicial process. I have every right to be here until a judge says otherwise. And if a judge does say otherwise, then absolutely, I will obviously stop being a council member at that point. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
So I would like to ask a member of the audience a question. Mr. Basson, is it accurate that if somebody is not legally represented as a council person, that the meeting is invalid? Is that correct?
I'm not going to answer that right now because I don't have a proper RCW in front of me to answer that in a proper way.
Is that not what took place in Medellin?
In Medellin, there were 3 council members that, I can answer that, there were 3 council members that did not swear in their new oaths of office, and they had to re-swear in, and that meeting was invalid because there was not a proper amount of council members to vote on anything. And those council members shouldn't have been sitting there at the moment, no.
And that's my point.
But it was straightened out, and it was cleared up. They took their oaths of office, but they still had to go back and re-vote everything because there was actually not enough council members to hold a quorum. So I can't say whether somebody can be taken off right now or not.
Okay, thank you. So I won't be a part of a meeting that's illegal. So I'll just go ahead and read.
I had a question. Can you cite why the mayor doesn't have power to appoint someone? What RCW are you referring to? Mr.
Madam Mayor, am I allowed to address that?
Yes.
Ma'am, would you please stand up and identify yourself?
I'm Stephanie Mosley.
Yes, ma'am. And your question is under what RCW I believe that the mayor doesn't have the authority?
You're saying that it was illegal for her to do that.
correct?
She does not have that vested authority. Show me the RCW.
Yes, ma'am, that is under RCW. If you have a pen, unless you have a really good memory, I can give it to you.
What?
Okay, it is 42-12-070, and you can also find that on page 75 of the MRSC Mayor Council Handbook. And I believe that is, I don't have my
Give me
reading
the numbers
glasses.
again, RCW what?
Yes, ma'am. 42-12-070.
Was there a period there?
Yeah, sorry. 42. Yes, ma'am. .12. Dot.
Wait, can we start it over, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me when the period is when you get to it.
Okay. 42. Period. 12. Period. 070.
42 period 12 period 070.
Yes, ma'am. But if you have any questions, like legal questions, I would imagine Mr. Worley would probably be the person you want to talk to, considering he's a lawyer.
Okay.
I mean, I'll answer whatever I can, but I'd like you to keep it.
Oh, okay, I'd just like to look that up.
Yes.
Maybe he can answer that.
So the verbiage in 42.12.010 says, every elective office shall become vacant on the happening of any of these following events, which if you listen, you pay attention to that, same as this has been vacant. It is vacant. Does that make sense? Shall become vacant is past tense.
That RCW isn't regarding the mayor's.
That was 42.12.010. An additional one is 35.27.080, which has to do with the residents. So if Mr. Piccarelli refuses to step down from the bench, this meeting is invalid.
So what I hear you saying, you're asking for Mr. Piccarilli's resignation, is that
No,
correct?
I'm not, he doesn't need to resign, he's disqualified. He has been disqualified. Whether he can resign if he wants to, but it's past the point. It's a done deal.
Again, this hasn't been adjudicated, Your Honor, or Mayor, point of order, this hasn't been adjudicated yet. These are just allegations,
Allegations?
nothing more. Once it's adjudicated, it's finalized, and the courts can decide. That's all. Thank you.
You have a question out here?
Oh. That's not
Does
the,
this court have to decide if he's a resident or not?
that was the auditor who decided that.
Is he a resident or isn't he?
According to the auditor, no, he is not a resident of the town of Ione.
And what's he doing here?
He won't leave.
Ask him. What are you doing here?
I have a legal right to be here.
Are you a
Would
resident?
you, excuse me, sir, would you please stand up and state your name for the record, please?
Are you
Sir,
a
would you
resident?
please stand up and state your name for the record? Thank you.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
Right. Steve. So what are you doing here?
I've answered that question already. The question was asked and answered. Do you have another question?
Are you a resident?
What's up?
Are you a resident?
Here? No, I'm not. And I still have a legal right to be here.
If you're not a resident, you don't.
Oh, I do though.
Because?
Well, if we want to schedule a meeting to have that discussion, I can have one
Ah.
with RCW.
Ah.
Oh, yeah, I would. So, any more questions?
Haven't you wasted enough time and money? I mean,
Excuse me, I'm sorry?
haven't
You
you
have
wasted
another,
enough time and money?
Sorry.
Okay, sorry,
Cindy Smith, sorry.
sorry.
Cindy Smith, my question is, haven't you done enough damage?
That's
I
not
mean,
a
the
question.
community, it's like you're against the community and not for the community. And that's what I don't understand.
Well, I'm not against the community by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. Could you be a little
Well,
bit
you're
more
not a
specific?
I can
resident, you
answer
shouldn't
that.
be on there.
Excuse me, sir.
I,
If you could just
no,
let her
actually, I
finish.
can answer that real quick.
Okay.
Richard Bogle, it was actually pretty clearly stated by you in the spokesman review in which you said that you were going to bankrupt Ponderay County. I think that was pretty
Again,
clearly
this
stated.
is taken out of context. I'm not gonna answer these ridiculous
It's
questions.
straight in context.
No, it's not. Absolutely not.
Miss Mayor, are you in charge of this or not?
Yes, sir, but I want people to be able to ask questions they're asking me all the time that I can't answer. Only he can answer these questions. Cindy Smith.
So according to what Mr. Shipley said, with the laws and that, this really meeting is not gonna count for anything. So I don't understand why it's even a meeting, if he's not gonna remove it.
Well, it's perfectly legal. It hasn't been adjudicated yet. Until it's adjudicated, I'm a legal counsel person.
But I thought one of the hearings made it clear he is not a resident.
Correct.
Not a
Even though
resident,
you're appealing it, doesn't mean you're right.
Doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's in the
Well,
appeal.
the first decision, I would
Ma'am,
say you're
with all due
wrong.
well, that's okay. You have the right to your opinion. It doesn't mean it's correct, but you do have the right to it, absolutely.
Okay, so you're refusing to hand in your resignation or?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay.
that settles it for me.
Okay, we no longer have a quorum, so this county council meeting is adjourned.